In this video, I'll just go over the new utility for Anubis that I've learned for the window position. So in the beginning of the round, you either need to molly this off, smoke this off, and later in the round, if you want to take a fight with this angle, you also need to know a few pop flashes for this, even if you just want to push the CT back. So starting off with the smokes, and for the early round smokes, you can throw the smokes from two positions. So one is this third pillar over here. The other one is the left corner of this door. So for the left side spawns, you can basically look for this third pillar, stand in front of this, then aim slightly towards the right side of this blue tile, like shown. Aim at the top of the roof line and then walk forwards and jump through. So this bounces off of the wall, bounces off of this, and then lands in the middle, blocking off the window angle as well. And then this can also work for mid smoke because the CTs cannot see you maybe crawling past or like lurking past the smoke. One thing you need to note is that based on how this exactly blooms, the very end of this ledge may not be smoked off. So that is still an angle that you need to be aware of, and it will be better if you can just flash that off. For the second position, you get into this corner. Then in these windows, there is this darker section. So look for the top line of that dark section. In the middle of the two, there is this dark mark on the wall right above this leaf. So you aim at this level and then a W jump throw. This bounces off of this wall and then lands as shown. Again, this may not fully smoke off this right, like extreme end of the ledge. So that is something you need to be aware of. So these two smokes will help you take water control like you used to before the changes were made. Now for mid round, if you want to smoke this out just to support your teammates playing in water, you can do so from this position if you were holding B. So get into this corner over here. In this pillar, look for this flower structure like right at or Nade structure at top of this and aim as shown. So there is this ring. Aim at the right corner of the ring and jump through. This lands again perfectly in the middle and again can be used as a lurk smoke. This does extend out, so it should cover the very end of the ledge. But again, like this end of the ledge is something you need to be aware of because based on how the smoke blooms, it may not always fully extend out. Now, from the other side of this position, you can throw a smoke from where this sign is. So stand in the corner, look for this blue V, aim at the bottom of that, and jump through. Again, this will land in the middle, work for the mid side as well, and then blocks of window as well. If you were holding stairs or like maybe holding rugs push or something, then you can throw a smoke from this position. So for this, all you need to do is like aim here in the middle of the door. It is a very forgiving smoke. You can basically aim anywhere on the door, to be honest, and then just a normal jump throw. Again, very similar, but in this case, it won't extend out as much towards mid. It still sort of works because the elevation is lower, but you still need to be aware of that a little bit. Then finally, if you were actually holding a push from rugs, you can still throw the smoke. So get on top of these baskets. After that, look for these arches. So you need to aim between the second and the third arch as shown. And then, so basically this is the second and third arch. You aim in the middle of that and W jump throw. So this bounces off of this firewall and then lands in front. So this again will extend slightly less towards mid, but works perfectly for the window itself. So these are the smokes that you can use. Now for the mollies themselves, and again I'll break it down as early round and one molly that you can throw from the um, stair side, which you can throw like mid round or late round. So for the first one, like the fastest molly that you can throw, and you need to be spawning towards like in front of this door or towards the left of this door, otherwise you may be too late to prevent the first CT from pushing. So you get into this corner, look for this extension outside the stairs, aim at the corner over there, then run forwards and throw the molly when the crosshair crosses this second stair, like shown. So this lands right where the ledge is, and sometimes it does extend down. If you throw it slightly later, it will only bloom towards the inside. It looks like shown. Does not cover off this angle over here, so you need to be aware that a CT can still be holding this angle from this side. But this molly is mainly to prevent CTs from pushing. So if you feel like they are going to be pushing, then this is what you can use to do that. Again, looks like this. After that, you can also follow this up with a nade. So for the nade, you need to look for this shadow over here. So in a single motion, you can just throw both of these together.
Throwing a Molotov. Frag out.
The nade you need to throw like right
Fire in the hole.
when you cross the top of the ledge. So this nade blooms in front of the window, and what it will do is that it will block the CT in the molly for a little bit, and if it is the first spawn, it will catch the CT right when they are about to fall, so it gives around 40 to 45 damage. So that is the perfect set of utility to basically prevent the first CT from rushing. Otherwise, the molly should give more damage to the second and third spawns if they are pushing like in a pack, or maybe the first spawn did not push mid. Now there is also a simpler molly if you don't want to throw the faster one. So again, you climb on the very end of this platform, and once you are on top, you basically use the same lineup that was there for the nade and throw the molly. So this looks something like this.
Setting up some fire.
So this bounces off of the left side of this, so bounces off from this wall and bounces back. This is the molly which covers most of the angles, so they cannot hold this angle without being exposed to mid. So if you want to use this, you can use this one instead. Another way of doing so is, so you basically move towards this side and aim below. So you need to be making sure that your crosshair is right in middle of this pillar and like this wall over here, and then run forward and this bounces off this wall this time, and again more or less works, so blooms in front of the door itself, but this won't be effective for preventing pushes. But this is still something which you can use, maybe late round as well. Now from the stair side, the perfect molly for this is something which Zaibu used to use in the older version of the map. So you get into this corner, aim at the aim at this corner of this roof line over here, and then run forwards and throw the molly when you're about to reach the stairs. So this looks something like this.
Setting up some fire.
So this will bounce off of this ornate art structure over here, or like this roof over here, and then just perfectly land where the previous molly does. Again, this will fully prevent anyone peeking from this side. The only angle that they may have is like if they had boosted over here, they'll still be able to watch the platform in water itself. So that is the only thing that you need to be aware of. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the molly specifically. There is obviously the older molly that you can throw. So you stand over here, aim as shown, and then so this still more or less works, but again you need to be aware that all of these mollies actually may not fully extend out to this end of the ledge. So that will again be an angle that you need to be um, aware of. Now for the pop flashes, and then this again depends on whether you smoked it off or not, or how or which molly is thrown. So from the same position, the perfect pop flash for this will be you look for the same corner, aim down where this second line is. So there are these faint lines on the arch, and on very slightly towards the right side of this corner there is a dark spot. So your crosshair should look something like this, and then you do a
Flashbang out.
W jump throw. So it bounces off of this wall and perfectly blooms so that this angle gets flashed. Based on like certain changes, if the CT is holding this angle, this does not work. So because this is a very narrow thing, you need to be aware of all of that. Now you can also throw this in a like in combination with maybe the smoke or maybe the molly. So let's say you're throwing the molly, you throw this first. After that, you need to be very slightly in front of this corner. Then look for these marks, aim below at this roof section right above the shadow.
Flashbang.
So in this case, it bounces off of this point and again will land very similar to the previous one. Again, you need to be aware that this angle may not be fully covered. So what utility is thrown over here sort of changes that. Now, if you were holding mid, there is a flash that I found which works pretty well. So you come out on this ledge over here and move so that you're able to see the front section of this wall. After that, look for this point over here. So there is this roof line. You aim as shot
Throwing flashbang.
and then a jump throw. So this I've found works for most of the angles because it blooms very close to the edge of the wall itself. But again, there may be certain cases like based on how the CT is standing, it does not blind, so you need to be aware. So but most all of these flashes will work for anyone pushing this angle over here. So yeah, this is basically it, all of the utility that I learned recently and some that I found. The video that I learned a lot of this was it's from CS Tactics, and I've linked that below so you can check that out as well. In the video he goes over more details of why and when you need to use that, so that may be useful for you as well. And yeah, that is basically it. This is all of the utility that I knew that you can use to handle the new window position. That's it.